Okay, looks like we're live. Welcome everybody back to Ursine Combo Lab Audio UCLA podcast, UCLA at FGC podcast, and today's episode 10 where we're going to be talking about single player content in fighting games. And I'm here with the classic Big Monkey regular. And that's what we're going to talk about. And I bring this topic up because I've been recently playing Mortal Kombat 11. You know, the NRS single player content, truly goated, truly goated. If there's something they really put their heart and effort into, it's their single player content.
Walk us through it.
Alright, so I've been playing through the story mode. And the story mode, like, I don't know, NRS just does everything right for the story mode. And, you know, maybe it's because they have, like, the, what do you call it, the 3D modeling program, the MOPEG, is it called MOPEG? Motion, like, attached, where they attach the balls to your, like, body, and then you just, like, do the action.
Is it mocap?
MoCap, yeah. Like, the cutscenes are just, like, so good, like, the facial, like, expressions, like, I've been playing, like a freaking, what's his name? Kung Lao? Like his entire attitude, like it's like so subtle, like you just see it in the cutscene, which I feel like is lacking from like every other fighting game. But I feel like mocap is just broken. So like you can see his like attitude, like when people say things, there's like small like they're like reacting and everything like while the cutscene is occurring, and I just like I feel like that's like a really nice touch. And like just all the small details in the story mode just like add up together to make me like want to play the story mode. Like I'm actually like interested in the character interactions and like the progression of how they like think, you know, go through the story. I don't know. I just feel like NRS really okay. I'll give NRS like they also have a bunch of other benefits, like, you know, for example, like Injustice is based off like a DC like story source, so like the story is obviously going to be like much more polished because it's already based on like something that already exists. And for like Mortal Kombat, I guess I don't know, something about Mortal Kombat, the story just hits different. Like comparing it to like Guilty Gear Strive, or like maybe it's because I'm like biased against anime games, but like I just don't give a crap about Guilty Gear Strive's story. I just don't care, like actually don't care. Maybe it's because it's a little too over the top, but like Mortal Kombat's pretty over the top, but I feel like it's over the top in a way that still like fits. Like I just feel like Guilty Gear Strive is like, or Guilty Gear in general is just all over the place. Like with I guess that's maybe like, you know, the style they're going for, but you know, I was going through the cutscenes of like other fighting games just to like look at it, and for Guilty Gear Strive, they're obviously reusing animation stuff because I don't think they mocap anything, right?
No, they don't.
It's visually unappealing. Like I know Guilty Gear Strive is like known for its like stunning visuals, right? But that's only in the game. Like the story mode cutscenes are actual dog water. Like
right.
if you want to talk about like visually stunning, like NRS like cutscenes are actually like top tier. Like there is no comparison. Like actually no comparison. I'll let you, if you have any thoughts, just go for it.
I was gonna say I'm gonna beam Rick Jace in, but okay, wait. Let me do that first, and then I have a bone to pick with anime fighting game stories. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, Raven hater. Well.
So the thing about, I think it's more of an American versus Japanese like game issue, you know? Because I don't know about Mortal Kombat, but I know the most recent ones, they aren't like geared towards arcades, right? Well, Strive, as it was released, it still had like a little like, we still want arcades to play this maybe, or like a pullover from Exert. But in arcades, when you play single player content, you don't get, like, if you make it too long or too like driven by story, then people aren't going to like sit down and play the whole thing, right? At an arcade, because nobody's sitting there for like 10 hours playing a campaign. So that's why it's like you choose a character, you run through like 10 battles and you get to the boss and then you're done. Which admittedly sucks ass, right?
Yes.
But I think
mean, okay, I'll just continue.
okay, well, I'm just saying that like NRS has that room to like flesh out their story, make character interactions, all because they don't need to fit this into a time constraint. But I also think that anime games could still do better. That's my 2 cents.
As a former NRS player, I can say you guys are definitely upplaying NRS's story modes quite a bit.
I haven't played it myself. I'm just going off what Retro said.
I played it. Are you sure? Like, I feel like that's like the gold standard. Like,
the writing quality is incredibly poor. Like have you played the MK11 story mode?
yeah, I've been going through it. I'm only on chapter 4.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to spoil it for you, or do you want me to just not say anything about it?
Well, so are you talking about like the Chronica and stuff?
I'm just talking about the writing quality of 11
In general?
and how it ends.
Well, okay. I could see like, even though I haven't played it, like I could already see like I think I know where you're going with it, because like Chronicus is like sus, but like I still feel like it's still much better in general.
I'm just gonna say I think it gets worse, but I just think Act and 11 have pretty terrible story modes in general. To be honest, I mean, sure,
Okay.
the animation quality and the cutscene quality is great. The cutscene animations are really cool, despite how the gameplay animations look. But just the story
Yeah, it's
quality
like
is
the
just
opposite. It's like the flip coin. Like
exactly.
dude, the move animations are, oh my, ooh, big yikes, definitely. NRS can work a lot on how their gameplay looks.
Even if it's mocap, it still looks like shit.
It's
you mean?
I think
The
it's
NRS
because
animations
it's,
are known for like being absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Probably because they're mocapped.
Yeah, because it's mocapped, exactly.
I see. You know what? That
They
makes
don't
sense.
use the keyframed animation, so hits don't really look as snappy as they do in every other fighting game.
That is fair. That is fair.
It's just all playing at like the same speed. It's not using like squish and stretch as like other games do.
Indeed.
Okay. Now that we have all of our Sam Show enjoyers here, though.
Oh, Sam
Also-
Show's story, bro. Dude.
That's under like the SNK, like the SNK just does like
the SNK story method.
blah blah blah, fight.
You get
fight.
JPEGs at the end, which they're cool.
Exactly.
Okay, the JPEGs are nice, but just
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think it's good, but also I think like, did you watch that one video about the Sam Show like aesthetic? I like posted it in LFG PC like 2 days ago, but I don't know.
Not.
It's like the advertorial video. It's like, if you can like put your game's philosophy into your like single player story mode, then I think that's better than nothing, right?
True. I guess it is better than nothing, but I just feel like if you're just gonna do like, I don't know, if you're not gonna put too much time into it, just don't put any time into it. Like, low key, like I'd rather have like nothing in this case than than something. I'm not gonna lie. I guess we're gonna talk about like do people even care about the single player content? Let's get that out there. Do people care?
I was thinking, well, this is kind of a tangentially related, but I saw like Vesper Arcade's video on single player modes in fighting games. He made an interesting point about how story modes are actually like the worst return on investment you could make when you're making a single player content for a fighting game, and that there's much more cheaper and more replayable ways to do them. Because if you think about it, you're spending so much time mocapping, hiring actors for the cuts to make cutscenes and all these like really expensive looking cutscenes, but they're pretty much only going to be played once, maybe twice. And it's not really like that much of a like you play them once and you're kind of done with like story modes. But if you're making like any kind of like other like gameplay modes, like extra modes or like the extra battle features that Street Fighter 6 has, that's kind of single player content, but like more replayable, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially when fighting games, their main focus really isn't single player. Like, it's definitely a poor return on investment. You're correct.
I think the goal of single player content should be to ease people more into the PvP side. I mean, of course, that's not going to happen with everyone. Some people just really don't like that shit. But I feel like eventually, I mean, the ideal goal would be to kind of ease the player into the PvP kind of mindset, or I don't know what you call that, just PvP space.
I feel like that's just not gonna happen though.
Yeah,
Like,
not all the
especially
time,
in
but
fighting games.
ideally, I mean, because if you want like the returning customer that like buys the DLC, that like plays the games, that like I don't know, I feel like that makes fans become diehards for your franchise, then I feel like that's kind of easing them into PvP is like the way you get them hooked.
Hmm. So you're saying like it like store like is that like actually the case though? What like gets people hooked on fighting games? It's not, I
Oh,
definitely don't
I'm
think
just
it's
theorizing. I don't know if that's like for real, but like I mean, like to me it makes sense that way.
like uh, whew, yeah, I guess it could start like that. I feel like do people actually learn the lore of fighting games through fighting game stories nowadays at least? Like
I feel like most people just like read the fan features of a character and think, oh, this is a cool character. They don't really like actually care about the story mode
yeah, I feel
Right,
like
yeah.
that's
arcade
how
mode
I get into
or
like
whatever.
Or you just like watch
Yeah,
the story on YouTube.
yeah, or that too.
Also, EGP Tekken says we need more fun battle modes like Tekken Ball, and Stripe's custom combo trials are pretty cool.
I
I
will
don't.
say the custom combo trial system is a very good mode. I'm glad they added that. It's great. I think it's great content. Because I
It's
like
good.
every now and then if I'm like picking up a new character, I'll just like do these combos that someone already made for me. I don't have to like search YouTube for like some video that has like 23 views for like optimal combo video or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah, learn the
Right.
hit stun frames, bro. Get good.
Learn your untech scaling, bro. But also, I think custom combo, like I think both of these things are very like succeed more kind of things, you know? Like if your game's not doing well in the first place, adding custom combo trials doesn't matter, right?
Sure.
uh,
I guess you could make that case.
okay, we could say that like just adding things in general is like always good. Like, do you guys agree with that? Just like having features is always good. Like even if it's like garbage. Like not okay. Let's not say garbage. Just like there's not a lot of quality or thought put into it. Like, would you
If
say
you're
like
adding bad features, I'd say don't add them at all. That's just my 2 cents.
well not like bad features, just like not good features. Like they don't equivalate, but like if you kind of get what I'm saying.
I
I
think
no,
I mean,
continue.
okay, well, I think both of you are like I think Rick Jace is right here. If it's bad, you shouldn't add it, but also even if it's a good like tangential feature like Tekken Bowl or something, if there's something fundamentally wrong with the competitive aspect of your game and you add something like that, I think it's worse because if fucking like Devil Jin has like a fucking loopable 50-50 with godlike neutral and everybody's complaining about it and like he's like sweeping competitive and then Harada goes, here you guys can have Tekken Bowl. I don't think people would be happy with that.
So you're like saying like if they invest time in not fixing their game.
Right, exactly. Or like a bug or something, right? Like if your game crashes every 3 minutes and you're adding what Tekken Force? I don't know. there's a lot of Tekken like examples to put, but at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is like, if your game is good and it's successful, add more things, and you'll be more successful. But if your game is bad and you're adding more things, then it won't change anything. Your game is still boxed.
You're saying like to fix the core first.
Yes, exactly.
That makes sense.
Okay, so like, should people even add like story mode, or for example, like, do you think those like it's a necessary requirement for fighting games nowadays? Is it necessary?
I don't think it is, honestly.
I don't either.
I also don't think it's.
I mean, look at
necessary.
Tekken 7. Like, you think people play that for story mode?
No.
It's done just fine with the probably one of the worst ones I've seen. With the Lars shooting section. Oh my god.
Well, he gets like a gun and he starts.
Yeah,
He gets a gun, it's like a third-person shooter.
Bruh, that's pretty sick though. Well, okay.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna drop EGP in.
For sure.
Okay, move to commentary. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome, EGB.
I had to mute the YouTube. What were you guys just saying?
We were talking about if single player content is like necessary, like for a release of a fighting game. Like I know some people are like beef. Oh, single player content is so important. I actually think like the sales would literally be the same. To be honest.
Okay, so at least for me, and I guess a lot of other people in this server, we're already invested in fighting games, and we're already trying to compete. We're trying to win. We already know what's up. But like, I feel like to like someone who's new, someone who's casual, they're not gonna understand like why we love fighting games.
Well,
so that's partially the reason I'm like thinking like single player modes are really nice to get, as long as you get people in, right? And I think that would increase sales. Not always. I feel like the biggest example is like, what's that one? What's the pony game called again?
Fighting Herds.
I heard the game has a lot of single player content, but like,
well, see, I feel like more people are drawn towards like the characters, and then they just don't care about, like, for me, like when I first got into Street Fighter, I was like, Jury, that's cool looking character, like, and then that's how I got into Street Fighter, like started playing like Street Fighter actively. You know what I'm saying?
I think
like,
I really do. Yeah, I'll just continue.
Yeah, you just look at the like characters, and then if they look cool or like they look interesting, then you like look into their story, right? Or like you just read up on it, or like whatever lore Capcom has posted. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, like just characters sell the game. That's really all it is to it. I don't really think there's anything more to it than that.
I'm looking at Unknown Stuff is saying traditional arcade mode ladders are whack. Like, I don't care about them for some reason. A lot of casuals really like them.
I don't get why like SF5 AE sold so well because they added an arcade mode. I mean, I get they bundled in the first two seasons too, but like,
I don't know either. I don't know why people would enjoy that.
That's the reason why you buy it?
Okay, so I bought Street Fighter 5 in arcade edition because it just had all the characters and it was cheaper. So like that's why I bought it. Like I didn't start Street Fighter 5 from the base game. Like I bought it until after like arcade edition was released. So I'm not sure if it's casuals buying arcade edition or like just like people who were like didn't get Street Fighter when it had like 0 content and then they got more characters later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think if developers for fighting games put all of the effort that they put into arcade modes into making unique special interactions for like pre-round and post-round, that'd be better.
True. Mortal Kombat does, I believe Mortal Kombat or NRS games in general have unique interactions for like everybody. So
right, yeah.
That started with Injustice 1
man,
or MKX.
I'll be honest with you, the MK ones are like, we're starved for those special intros because they're just dialogue.
Right,
we don't have any of those fancy animations. Like, I want more of that, like the dramatic starts to Dragon Ball, or like if you see any of CVS2's special intros, I feel like NRS, like I appreciate they're doing it, but it's just dialogue. Like there's nothing different.
Both
if you
is
beat
cool
the game,
though.
You don't know the difference.
But like, if you have animation and unique dialogue, that would be perfect. But
Yes.
on one hand, you have plus R with that like the cool ass like Clash intros, you know, and then on the other hand, you have NRS. So if you had like a Clash intro and then they said something, well, I mean they do say something in plus R, but it's like a one-liner, then I think that would be really cool.
I feel like this goes back towards like the just like being expensive for something that you don't really pay attention to after like the first time you see it. You know what I mean? Like back to story mode cutscenes or whatever. Just because like, oh, you see the interaction once and then you skip it every other time you play. Like thousands of hours you play. Like you're skipping all those cutscenes and you've pretty much only seen it once or twice or a handful of times.
I feel like
The return isn't really there.
But
Yeah.
that's the same with story mode, right? You play it once and you never play it again.
Yeah, exactly.
But like the interactions have a chance to show up every single time, and if you do one really well, you could have it like the cell yell, you know. But I guess the cell yell is only for one character. I don't know, but
that kind of goes over my head. I like that stuff. Just I don't think I'll ever understand that. I guess, but whatever.
Like it doesn't stick with you, like seeing like Ryu and Ken like fist bump each other before they start.
Yeah,
that's like stakes.
Never cared about stuff like that, to be honest.
Oh well,
Nah.
that's unfortunate.
Part of the reason I
think it's
joined
really
this
cool.
discussion because I'm thinking like, to us, like to people who are into fighting games, we don't really care about the single player mode, right? I don't think, at least a lot of us don't, because we're already invested in the multiplayer part, right? But I'm thinking about like casuals and like how they would get into fighting games. I feel like, if you're not already invested, you're not interested, right? And I'm thinking, a lot of the single player stuff they really like for some reason. Like I can't figure out why. Like arcade modes or like what else is there?
There's the NRS loot system.
Yes,
With the powers,
that
the rotating powers.
yes.
But that's like that could go into
Treasure
FOMO.
battle.
It's like another can of worms. Oh, treasure battle.
Or I know a lot of like casual Tekken players. They're disappointed in Tekken 7 because they don't have a team battle. And I'm like, I never cared about team battle, but like I would still like the game if it had it or not. It doesn't matter to me, but it matters to those people who enjoy that stuff. And it's like it's not that hard to program, you know? Like I'm not a game developer, but it doesn't seem as intensive as like, you know, adding a new character or like a
or
new stage.
Tekken bowling.
Yeah.
I think developers should include the option to install single player content.
Yeah, that's
I think
actually
that
really
is very. If they do that, that'd be very nice because you know if I could just play Mortal Kombat 11 and only have it be like you know like 6 gigs rather than 36, you know for a person without a computer that has a terabyte, like that means a lot to me, you know, like just not having to install that much, like all the armors and stuff, they have all this bunch of like single player content. You can unlock armors, different weapon models, like things like that, or like reskins, different textures. Like that's nice and all, but like I would really like the option to just install it without those features. Like honestly.
Yeah, that
I was
would be
thinking
really nice.
just now, like, what if you just sold them as like separate packages? Like, you have the like, if you want to get like, I don't know, like Mortal Kombat like online mode, that's like $30. You get like Mortal Kombat like offline mode, that's like $30, but like you split them. You know what I mean? Like split them between 2 different packages. So if you want both, you pay 60. But if you just want one, you get a reduced price. It's probably not good, like economically or whatever. But you know,
Didn't
it's
Halo
a theory.
Infinite kind of do that? Like the game is
The
free.
multiplayer was free,
The
but
story
if you
is
want the
not.
single player, it's 60. Yeah, I mean, so if that's done before, then that means it can be done again in the future. So
True. I feel like that would be a very nice change if fighting games is that. Just for like, you know, people who are like, you know, if they don't want, like, they want to try the game but not get into, like, get washed online, they just buy the single player, right? And then if they feel like they like the game, it'd be like a demo, honestly. Like, to see if you like the game or not. Like a paid demo, I guess. You know? Like, on that end, where, like, you know, if you're not too invested, you just play the story, and then if you're surprised that you like the game and you like the characters, right? Then you go play online with all the diehards.
And then complain about skill-based
getting-
matchmaking or something.
Like Street Fighter 6's story, like you know, I guess would you call it single player content, like the customizing your avatar? Have you seen those avatars that've been popping up?
That is great content.
What is the? Why is this like? I don't know what is up with the body proportion like sliders or whatever.
It's
but
just true freedom,
So
man.
good.
True freedom.
It is a great character creator.
dude, I don't know where, but I saw this picture of a fucking like dude who's like cinnamon stick or something.
Oh, Cinnamon from Applejacks.
I saw that comment where it was like everyone's a One Piece character in those lobbies.
Oh crap! Well, like
Aokiji looking at.
you think that that's the single player content like that fighting games should be looking for? Maybe not necessarily like story mode, but like just player customization, like the calling cards, like when you enter like a match, those are like really nice. Like your customizable calling card. Like if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
BlazBlue does that too, and everyone just complains about the Arxis lobbies. So.
Wait, BlazBlue does that? What do you mean?
Not really. Like it's like when you fight
the
someone
announcer.
in BlazBlue, it's like you see like their customizable like
Oh no, but like Street
Oh, the
Fighter
lobby
6
avatar?
is it's like another challenger's coming, right? And then it like shows your like it's like a very like you like I don't know, I need a video. Let me
It's just another It's just another version of a Arxis lobby avatar, is what you're saying.
What?
Yeah.
Is
That's
it?
basically what it is.
I don't think so.
It
To be
just
honest.
to me, Street Fighter
can
6's
put
lobby
hats
feels
on
like
it,
a really.
whatever.
Oh,
really
not the
nice,
lobby. I'm talking about like
I
the
hate
calling
having to
card.
move a character just to menu through a lobby. I just want to be able to like scroll through like menus and whatever. I mean, that's me personally, but I don't really see the point. I guess but that's a minor opinion, probably.
True.
Don't worry,
Giving me
Rick
Jump
Jason.
Force vibes. If you guys ever played Jump Force.
I'll bring Zero on.
Number one Jump Force player.
Don't worry, Rig Jace. We'll have our debate eventually. It'll be legendary.
Okay, whatever you say.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like, if there is like no story mode theoretically, where does like the lore and all that come into play? Like,
Okay,
how should
I was
that be
thinking about this.
implemented?
I was thinking about this for like 2 minutes when you were talking about this, but I think it'd be really cool to have the special interactions and then just have like a character biography.
Oh, just like something you could read up on.
Right, but maybe it's like, oh, you can unlock more parts of this character's story if you play them more in like PvP, for example, or whatever,
Oh.
or like through achievements or something.
Like those things in like RPG games where you like can like find or like unlock the notes.
Unlock lore
something.
pages.
Yeah,
Right,
lore
yeah.
pages,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Because then we would solve the issue of like, oh, you have a story because you want it to be continuous and flowing and you don't want to drop it all at the same time. But also, you wouldn't have to play story.
True. Okay, so yeah, another thing about Mortal Kombat 11, right? The story, like, it doesn't feed you into the game at all. It's just like literally the story, right? Because I was doing
Yes.
like the entire tutorial and stuff, and Mortal Kombat. Okay, I'll briefly mention it, but I feel like Mortal Kombat suffers from like too many mechanics, like too many unique things going on, like with the strings and stuff, and like armor breaker and all that nonsense. But like the story has like playing the story and playing the game are like two different things. Like there is like no overlap.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Strive is similar. You don't even fight in Strive. You just
Sit-
watch
the cutscene.
movies.
Oh, wait, actually,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a fucking 4-hour-long movie.
is it a good movie though?
Depends. Do you like the
I'm not
Guilty
gonna
Gear
watch it.
lore?
Oh,
I do
no.
not. So
Yeah,
unfortunately.
probably not.
They made it in like what? How much? How long was it? Like 2 months?
I'm pretty sure they use like the camera mode thing Like, you know how like in like Dragon Ball, like the mods,
Oh,
like you can like adjust the camera. I'm pretty sure like ArcSys made it just like through that, like literally.
just
Yeah.
reminded me of the best single player mode that ArcSys has ever released. It was the figure mode. Have you browsed through the figure mode?
Figure mode of
Figure
what?
mode. So you know, like the every Strive character is basically a figure, like a character model that you yourself can like select different poses for. You can through fishing or whatever, and you can set them to pose in different ways and like change the move the camera around, add effects and all that. It's really cool. People make really funny stuff with the figure mode. It's just scrolling through that was a lot of fun when I was messing around with it.
Oh, I did not
That's
know
the
that.
single player mode, right?
You can. I mean, is that not single player content?
Yeah, it is.
I think it is. I
I
think
guess
it's
so.
great.
Yeah. I think
I think
that's
it's
really
great
cool.
because you
Yeah.
can just like look back on like what people were like thinking during that time, or what people were making during the time, or probably what people were making memes about.
I mean, I feel like if I'm gonna pay for a fighting game, then what am I paying for, right? I don't want to pay $60 for this like whack ass online and like there's like 5 characters and like the game crashes when I start it. Like if they have single player modes, it kind of justifies why I'm paying $60. Sometimes they don't. Like sometimes they literally just don't have anything to do besides play the crappy online, right?
No, I
Mhm.
see. I
There's
see.
a lot of examples like that, and like it's only now that we're getting like actual $60 games. Like Street Fighter 6, that's definitely a $60 game. Street Fighter 5 at launch, hell no. That was like that's not even a video game. I don't consider Street Fighter 5 at launch a real video game.
Just, okay. So, do you guys consider training mode a single player?
Oh,
I
oh,
feel like that should
oh.
be expected no matter what. So I don't know if you can call it that.
Right, but the quality of training mode.
Is that
Sure.
okay? Is
I
this
mean,
the
okay.
same discussion though? Like,
Are you gonna get into a +R replay takeover? Because that is a very cool mode.
That is absolutely goated.
Okay, what is?
I still have yet to like find a really good use for it though, but it'll
What
come
is
with time.
this replay?
I mean, it's fun just anyways. I feel like just like going back into like your losses and like just theorizing like what could I have done to win here?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really good for learning too. So it's like, I guess if it's single player content also helps you get better at multiplayer PvP, but I guess that's just training mode, right?
Yeah, I think training mode's cool, right? It's like it's also completely optional. You
Right.
never have to go into it if you don't want to, you know?
That's like any part of a fighting game, though.
Okay, Eddie player.
Training mode requires like knowing how to use it though first. Like to be honest, like no casual is just gonna enter training mode and be like, I know exactly what to do and how to
will
use it
say-
effectively.
Well, I guess so, but like if you know where the reset button is, you could do a lot. Just like,
I do like the modern training modes where they kind of like reset everything for you. Like you don't have to like what's it called? How do I think of an example? Like you don't have to record every part of the bot of the dummy to do something you want to do. You can just assign it like, oh, I want to assign it to do like 5P or whatever. You don't have
right,
to like
right.
record shit for that. You know what I mean?
Hot take.
And Street Fighter 6, they're making like, oh, you want to anti-air train, so it just set the dummy to jump. You don't have to do anything. You just say, oh, I want to do anti-air training. It's pretty easy to find just for that.
A hot take. Sometimes I think training mode should be locked behind like a password or something. Because sometimes I think people get the wrong idea about training mode.
Well,
Like-
what would be the wrong idea?
Like, damn, like a lot of people are like, oh shit, like I gotta like, how do I say this? Like, man, fighting games are whack. You gotta go into training mode. That's all you do. Like, and then
Is
you get good. And I'm like, no, like training mode like
tweet?
is not.
Okay,
You're trying to
That's
get good.
interesting.
Training mode is a nice tool, but it's like not the be all end all of like competitive.
that is really interesting. I think personally that's a branding issue. It's called training mode. Isn't that the sweatiest thing you've ever fucking heard? Just name it like sandbox mode or something.
You know what? Yeah, people will probably get the right idea if you name it that.
Right, because it's somewhere you can do whatever you want to do. It's not like, oh, I'm sitting here doing 50 push-ups or like 50 reps of my sidewinder loop, right? No,
Yeah.
it's like you find cool shit. You can do whatever you want. That's all there is.
I was talking to a guy who really wanted to get into fighting games, but just like he said he couldn't. And I asked him why. He says, I don't want to have to crunch numbers and practice for every situation in the book before
You
I start
see,
playing. I'm like, and I tell him, you don't have to do any of that to start playing. You can just play online, and then whatever you're losing to like really badly, you can just like train for that specific thing. And it's just a long process. And he says, yeah, well, the process is too long, so I don't want to do it.
you see, that's why like I appreciate the frame data display and stuff, but they gotta lock that shit behind like a password. Like casuals can't figure it out unless they know. Cause I don't I feel like it like gives people the wrong idea about fighting games, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
story mode
if
should
you
be second tutorial. To be honest, teach people that stuff, right? While they're playing the story.
okay,
In my opinion. Like, cause like you're right. Casuals won't like understand that, right? And then they'll go through like whatever single player content there is, and they'll come out and be like still big yikes, right? That something needs to ease them into that information, and obviously it's not tutorial mode. Like tutorial mode does not work like how people think it is, in my opinion. I went through Mortal Kombat's tutorial mode, dude, and if someone who's never played fighting games like touch that, they wouldn't understand it. There's too much. Like I was able to get through it because like I have experience and like I know what the words already mean, but like I was like, dang, if I was a new player, like, and I was like, oh, I want to play this game, and now I'm gonna go touch the tutorial, it's gonna be like, what did I just experience, and like how do I apply these things? Like there's like, oh, you apply it, right? But you don't actually apply it in the game modes that you play, like in story mode. Nah, you ain't applying none of that. I ain't doing flawless block into flawless block reversal in story mode, like no shot. You know?
I think
that's why I love James Chen's take on this. Make modes, make like these like dumb, stupid modes that actually teach how to play the games, but they like it's hidden tutorials basically. He was talking about what was it called, like okay, Smash is not a fighting game, but he was talking about like this the home run contest, right? How
Oh,
it teaches players about percentage and how it knocks further, right? So if you have those modes like that where single player modes where they're teaching you how to play, or like Tekken Ball, like I think like mids and lows have like different properties when they hit the ball. So it teaches player about the hit levels of the game, you know?
I don't know about Tekken Ball though. I feel like that's still a little. I mean, I get what you're saying, but
Okay, I'm
I
not good
don't
at
know how many like fighting game mechanics could be explored that way. You know,
Yeah,
like
fighting game
maybe
mechanics are just, they're not intuitive. In Smash, it's
right.
high percent hits farther. Like that, ooh, even like, it's like fitting the shape into the shape block, right? Versus fighting games is like, oh, this random move is plus, so don't press buttons. It's like, what? Like, that's clownery, dude. You know what I'm saying?
If
I feel like
Undernight had a
oh,
bop it by for the grid tutorial, that'd be really funny.
I mean,
You
like I think
know,
like if you made a mode of just execution with the characters, you could make that like similar to a rhythm game. Like you could
that's just the
show
combo
the
maker
inputs on,
mode.
yeah. And I'm thinking like there are multiple ways for them to integrate like a lot of these tutorials, and you can hide them, disguise them as you don't have to call them tutorials. You can just call them single player content.
Oh, are you talking about like Exert?
Uh,
Oh, the exit
I mean,
tutorial.
Yeah.
it's called the tutorial, but there's a lot of like, I know like there's a lot of interactive stuff when you do it. Like it'll
I
give you
heard a
like
lot of
5
people
tries to
didn't
like
like that tutorial.
blitz shield something,
Huh.
or like, yeah, exactly, unknown stuff. Like, I guess real-time quizzes and stuff. Like I feel like, um, what's it called? That's one way you can make single player content. Like there's multiple ways, but I think that like tutorials, like um how do we say this? Like Dust Loop is gonna be better. It's gonna be way better for just tutorials.
Like Dustloop, the website.
Yeah, like Dustloop is gonna be better than whatever the devs can figure out, put into the game.
Yeah, the
But if
fighting
they
game devs should just put a link to Dustloop
That's
in their game.
yeah,
You know, like-
honestly, they should.
some like smaller gacha games will actually put like game press links in the game. You like click on and bring you to a fucking like third party tutorial or some shit. I think that's not a bad idea.
Oh, okay. What about spectator mode? Do you think like those mode, like a mode like that, like, cause that's I don't know if that's technically single player content, but like I know Dragon Ball or no, does Dragon Ball have a spectator mode? It does, right? Like it just sends you like you get a spectator random match or whatever, like.
Like an online queue for a random match that you can watch.
I think so. Yeah, something. I know Street Fighter 6 has that where you can like sit and watch like people playing on like the big screen. Like I remember seeing like things like that. I feel like I don't know. Is watching people play like good content? I mean, I guess you could just do that on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. I don't freaking know. I know there are some internal game modes where like, oh yeah, watch a random match online. Like, I don't know if
I
that's.
think
like,
I can't remember. I might be wrong on this, but I think League of Legends actually did something like that, where in the client itself, you can actually click on like a pro match that's like happening right now, and you can
Right.
like watch it
Yeah.
like inside your game. You don't have to like go through Twitch.
Can you not do that in Strive?
Oh, like watch a current tournament like inside your game? No,
Yeah.
I don't think any game does that.
Well, yeah, League does that, but it's only for like worlds and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the Strive will like post like whoever won the tournament, but it won't like post a link or
Oh,
to
I
the
see.
tournament inside the game. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm curious what the numbers are. Like, do you guys happen to know? Like, did they release like any information on like how many people like? Do you actually think casuals buy the game to play the single player content? Like, is that like a thing that people do?
Not anymore.
Not.
No, yeah.
I think the story mode, the concept of the story mode itself, is starting to die. But I think MK might just keep it up just because they're like the only ones that are doing it, and they even like release like story expansions or whatever with 11.
And their lore is like really extensive, isn't it?
Expensive, but not in the good way.
Yeah.
No, it'd be like that sometimes.
And
True.
I was gonna say though, my favorite single player mode in fighting games is set play. But okay,
No. Oh, that's yikes. That's a good
Zato
one.
player.
That's a good one. I want
Okay.
to steal that from you, bro.
Favorite single player mode is Eddie
Yeah.
Knockdown.
My favorite
Yeah.
single player mode is playing the game. You're just playing a single player game. Basically.
I was thinking like when I said not anymore, like I don't think like casuals they don't have a reason to buy fighting games. They don't have a reason to play them. I there's not a lot of content for them. For us, there's a ton of shit. Right now, it's like every game has rollback. Every game, like I mean, not every game, but a lot of games have rollback now. A lot of them have like good wikis, good information online. But for a casual who just doesn't care about competitive, what is in it for them? And I'm thinking like the more casuals we get, the more people who might move to competitive are, so
So okay, so like imagine like the new release of Street Fighter 6. What if they just didn't have a story mode like or whatever, but they still had like the avatar customization. They just didn't have like the roam the map, roam the world kind of thing. Do you think that would actually like hurt their sales or like their prospects?
I think it would.
So it would. So like not like having that. So what is drawing the audience? Like if story mode is like, because I know like I'm buying the game already, regardless of whether or not it had that feature, right? But like, how many people aren't like that? Like what percentage? Like what? Like I know this is like theorizing, but like, do you actually think like there's a large percentage of people that wouldn't buy Street Fighter 6 because it didn't have that free roam the city mode?
I think it's maybe
There's gonna
like
be-
half and half, right?
There's gonna be more people now than compared to Street Fighter 5, which had fucking nothing on launch.
But that's because it like actually had no content on launch. I feel like, and it also had like no I don't feel like it had like no marketing as well. So there's another thing. Like the Street Fighter 6 has a lot of hype, like on it right now. I think like from what I've seen, like there's a lot of hype for it.
Yeah, it's a real video game.
You get to do a freaking Chun-Li spinning bird cake across roofs. Isn't that cool? That is pretty cool. I don't know, like, you know, or Dawson
You can also do it in the lobbies too.
Aw. Well, do you guys have anything to like any more to talk about? I guess it really do be lacking, cause there's just nothing.
The question I always
guess
ask
for,
is like, why am I paying $60 when every multiplayer game nowadays is free to play?
Oh, okay.
That's a different kind of worms entirely.
Okay, but I'm thinking like, for the basic feature of just playing online, which sometimes is not possible with fighting games because they don't want to add rollback, but what's it called? What was I saying?
So you want it to be like free Street Fighter 6, right? But then there's like 50 Jury skins or like 50 Chun-Li skins people can wail on, you know, with like the female cast having like 50 skins and the male cast having like 1 skin.
Oh yeah.
If you want to play
That's
competitive and like, if you want to play like multiplayer competitive in most other games, it's free. But for us fighting games, we gotta fucking pay so much, and then it's like, what is that $60 going to? Like, I'm questioning like, what? So we have like this like whack ass online, like at least have some single player modes, so you can have an excuse. Like, at least have those for the casuals. Like, literally the only people who are buying these fighting games nowadays, it's like, it's just us, right? It's just the small community of people who are gonna buy it anyways because, you know, we enjoy it. But someone outside, like, I don't feel like there's Street Fighter 6 had a lot of reasons, but now I just feel like there's not so many. Like KOF 15, I don't think there's anything for casuals other than, oh yeah, no, I like Terry and I like what's his name? Rio. Like, those are the only people that are
Unlock
gonna buy.
the music tracks. There's that.
True.
Wait, you have to buy the music in that game?
No, you can unlock it
them, yeah.
with the arcade mode. It's completing the arcade mode with specific teams unlocks the soundtrack for specific games.
You unlock the JPEG too, so you can look at the endings.
That I can use Google and YouTube for? Okay.
I did use YouTube for King of Fighter 15 endings, I'm not gonna lie.
I did as well.
I mean, me personally, I can just mute the game and put it on Spotify, but you know, there's.
I don't think that
whatever you
counts as a single player mode though. Like,
Okay, but does like buying skins count as like okay, for like the multiplayer games, right? That's basically where all their money comes from, right? So like for League of Legends, for example, I know some friends, not gonna name names, but they're garbage at the game, but they've spent like $500, dude. They have like all the luck skins. I'm like, you can only use 1 skin. Why do you have all the luck skins, you know? They're like, oh, I rotated. I'm like, that's the most, like, each skin is like $20 on Lux. Like, you know? Because she's got like all the legendaries. She's like the popular champion garbage. You know what I'm saying?
because there's something for casuals to do.
That's not doing
funny.
anything, though.
Funny.
That's just buying the skins. You aren't doing anything. Like,
It's just shopping. You're saying shopping is a single player mode.
oh my, like,
That's evil.
is that like consumer mentality? Like, oh, I just want to buy things that look cool. I don't
There's
know.
something for casuals to do. Like, I feel like that's what single player modes are for. We don't care about them. But do the casuals?
So you're saying
yeah.
if you're casual, you should just stare at your wallet and just kind of like sacrifice it to the gods.
Yeah, man.
Damn,
Like,
that's hardcore.
oh my goodness.
Okay, think about it like this, right? If we bait a bunch of casuals into fighting games, the devs get more money, and then we get good online. So in the long term,
That money just goes to more skins. Do you not realize that?
in the long term, this will benefit us. Because I kind of need some tinfoil right now. I know I'm sounding like that.
That's some copium right now.
Dude, okay, you think like the true gateway to single player content is free to play, right?
I mean, not necessarily. I'm just saying, like,
Well, I feel like that would be the case, right? Then more people would just try story mode, even if it was dog water. Like, because it's free. There's nothing, you don't have to put anything into it. You don't have to commit like $60. it's just free to play. Like, okay, imagine a fighting game where the online was locked behind $60, but the game was free, right? Training mode free, story mode free, online $60, right? You would still get everybody who plays fighting games to pay $60 for your game, right? But then, like, all the casuals can, like, it'd be like the casuals could just download the game and just play story mode. Or play, like, or sit in train, I don't know, like, sit in training, sandbox mode, we'll call it sandbox mode from now on.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't that be, that's a pretty good method, right, for getting people to play single-player content? Like, just have it be free. And, like, in order to play, like, local versus or, like, online versus, that's, like, the $60 you have to, like, chill out, right? All of us are going to pay $60, right, if we were playing a fighting game like that.
Hey, man. Don't give them ideas. You know someone's gonna pull this.
But is that a bad idea though? That's a good idea. It hurts nobody. Like, this idea literally hurts nobody. Like, it doesn't hurt the developers because I feel like they already have like no people buying their game for single player content, right? So people are only buying their game for like the local versus and like online versus, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea. But the cheap person in me wants to say, I want it the other way around.
Oh, oh, true. But that's just them like giving their game out for free, basically. At that point, literally. Okay. Fantasy Strike does this, and that game, but I feel like that game fails for a different reason entirely, not because of its model. Like, it's just not a good game. Like, it's okay. I won't say it's not a good game. It's an okay game, but yeah.
Did you play handed?
Yeah, I was playing it one hand. It's like you could literally play the game one handed. Like, it's not hard. But yeah, I think its story mode is like, I think it's free as well, or I might be wrong. Maybe like
No, you can play for free, but you cannot matchmake with friends. You cannot play your friend.
Yeah, you can find randos online. You just can't matchmake with friends.
Local arcade is also
like
locked behind a paywall. Like, the arcade mode is locked behind a paywall, I think, as well. And they do the same thing. They have skins, right? But like, of course, it's Fantasy Strike, so like no one wants. Like, I don't think people actually want to buy those skins, right? So, not to put any. It's not bad, but it's definitely not like good enough to pay like $10 for.
Yeah, I don't know if it has any single player content. I guess skins, but
Yeah, it has arcade mode, but like I was playing the arcade mode on stream. It's like okay. It's basically your fighting game arcade mode. Like, you do like a bunch of matches and then you get some JPEGs at the end, which is like I don't know. Okay. This, like, what about like normal single player games, right? Like, where like their only content is the story mode, like literally, like Detroit Become Human or like something like that, right? You just play it once and then you never touch it again. Like, I know, like, people are, there's, like, okay, I don't know if you guys know this trend, but there's, like, this roguelike trend where, like, it's this randomly generated stuff, infinite gameplay, right? With the success of, like, recent roguelikes, like Slay the Spire and stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of people are, like, on that mindset where, like, I'm just, making something that people only play once isn't worthwhile to do. And, I don't know. I feel like I disagree. I feel like, Rig Jace was mentioning how he, like, doesn't care about, like, those one-off things where you, like, see it once. I feel like just doing it once can, like, it really adds to, like, the flavor of the game, I guess. Flavor of the game, versus, like, not having it at all. Like the small things, right, at least. Like, the fist bumping at the beginning. You don't have to, like, make an entire mode dedicated to, like, story, but, like, having those things are, like, really nice. I feel like that's what would draw like more audience.
I think that's kind of proof, like, of Street Fighter 6 doing things right? Everyone's talking about how, like, look at this windscreen of like Jury's feet or whatever. Well, people like that stuff,
That's just Jury's feet, bro. That's just
Jury
Jury being OP.
depending on, like, no matter what character you fight.
Yeah, and then like the finishing move being different, like if it kills or not. Like, that's so cool. That's so sick.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, like normally it just like knocks you down, right? But if it kills, there's like an added ending animation. Like so for Ken, he does his fiery Shoryu, and then if he kills you, he says, "Shut up and sit down." Boom, right? That's just like
It's tight.
that's like it's so sick, dude. I'm like, dang, edgy Ken, yeah, let's go. You know, and then Juri like kicks you in the face, like if she like kills you with her super, like it's super. And then Ryu goes like black and white. It's like these small things that like that show the character. Like you don't even have to put a story mode. You just need like these small things that highlight who the character is and like what they're about, and like that's like enough. I feel like.
I think that at its core would solve a lot of issues with marketing characters without necessarily having to have a shitty ladder-based story mode.
I mean, you guys call it like the arcade mode like shitty, but for some reason, I don't know why people like arcade mode. I don't know why.
They
And
just
then
like
maybe it's
beating
because that's the
CPUs, bro.
only way you can see how characters are, right?
Yeah.
They don't say anything interesting in the game modes. Like you go like Nago against like fucking Leo or something, and then Leo's just like, "You're dumb," and then Nago's like, "Well, I'm strong, but you're also dumb," right? And it's like, who cares?
I mean, I love those small details. I think fighting games should definitely have more. Though I feel like we're lacking in that currently. I feel like it's just Dragon Ball, just Street Fighter 6 that are doing it pretty much.
What does
Yeah.
Dragon Ball do?
They have like the dynamic intros and stuff, or was it dramatic finish?
Oh, they don't. I don't think they have dynamic intros.
Where like
It's
if you
also
play
not
like
character specific.
if you play like two certain characters, it's really character specific. Like if
Really?
you play like two certain characters, they'll have a special intro. Then whoever wins with like a heavy attack, like you'll trigger a cutscene. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
Beerus
but like
does.
it's very few. It's like very little.
Doesn't
I love
Beerus
that
do
stuff.
Hakai against Zamasu?
Yeah. And like
feel like
Raleigh with Super Saiyan. Oh yeah, continue.
We're missing stuff like that in like fighting games. I guess that's not. I don't know if that's single player, but I definitely miss that. Like I live special intros and like plus R, um, when they happen, it adds a lot to character. Like you were saying.
What if?
Yep.
Oh yeah, continue. What were you gonna say?
I don't know. I was just gonna agree with EGP. Like Eddie and Milia's is really cool.
What if single player content wasn't actually related to the fighting game? Like you didn't have to like play the fighting game. It's just like a different thing entirely. You get what I'm saying?
Like a movie.
Not like a movie. It's still a game, but like it's
Like
not.
they make you play like Minesweeper to watch the cutscene at the end.
So technical.
I don't know.
Right.
I guess that'd be more work on them. Yeah, that's kind of clown. Never mind.
I mean, we talked about how cool the figure mode was. That has nothing to do with mashing soul like DP on wake up.
True.
You could.
Oh, I think unknown stuff. He said something smart. There's no progression at all. Isn't that what kind of Street Fighter 6 is doing? Open world game. Oh, someone was talking to me about this. What was that game called? Multiverses. They're saying how it has like the stupid progression thing where if you just play, right? You can play any mode in the game. You just get these like random items and shit, right?
The battle pass thing.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I was like, should fighting games do that? I was like, is that single player content? And I was also like, should fighting games do that? I don't know.
Oh, so like Mortal Kombat, like Injustice, they have like the armor system where you like unlock armor and it like makes your. Well, at least Injustice had like stats, and then you can like do like there was like this whole MMO thing where you like fight a raid boss and try to do as much damage to it as like possible, and like if your clan like did the raid, you get like loot boxes and like rewards, like epic gear and stuff like that, legendary gear, and Injustice 2 at least. Like,
Yeah,
if
I
you
know,
guys
like,
about that.
I was playing MK11 online and they're giving me like random like currency. I still don't know what it's for because I actually don't care about that.
I will
But
say
I feel
one
like
thing-
I guess casuals like would like that stuff. I mean, as
Do
long as
they,
you can
though?
as long as you can trick people. See, I'm kind of evil, right? So as long as you can deceive people in some way.
Yeah, make it so that they get like it's like Street Fighter 5 tokens where you can get free skins if you just get enough Capcom fighting money. Oh no. What were you gonna say, Rude Chase?
Oh, I was probably the coolest thing that I liked about MK11 was the ranked seasons and how they handled it. I mean, this is not really single player, I guess, but I mean, you know what? This mode actually attracts a decent amount of single players, but so when you get to a
towers in
certain
MK?
rank, no, it's not towers. It's completely different. But I think this is the
Oh.
coolest part. It's whenever you reach a certain rank, depending on the season, you'll get a skin that's exclusive to that season. So let's say, oh, they had like a season of the. I'm just making shit up, but they have like season of the Necromancer. There's like 3 characters, and those 3 characters in the game have like a special skin that's like only available if you hit a certain rank this season. And surprisingly, that just having those alone attracts a lot more single player people that you to the online mode than you think they will, because they just want to collect the skin. They don't really care about the rank. They'll just play and play and play until eventually they'll hit the rank or whatever, and they have the skin, and then they'll stop playing. And they'll just go back to towers or whatever. So I think that as a concept is really cool.
Like victorious skins in League, or if you get gold, you get the victorious skin. And
I have no idea how that works, but I mean, sure, I guess, yeah. Just basically what like you hit a specific rank and you get a skin that's like exclusive to that season.
Do you have to win to get the rank? Or
I mean, you have to. Well, to rank up, yeah, you do have to win.
So incentivize people getting better as well.
Yeah, Tekken has this cool feature where if you get a certain rank, people will start plugging on you.
That's a good one. Holy crap! Where are you pulling these out from? Your hat of like one-offs for all the fighting games that you get tilted at, or like?
Dude, I just play the game and I get mad and I just say what I'm thinking about. Unknown Stuff was saying that like arcade modes just have nothing besides basic fighting game match and maybe you beat up a car. I mean, I think that's sick though. Like bonus stages, I think they're super like cool. Like I feel like people like them, and we should still have stuff like that. And bonus, like the beating up the car in Street Fighter is not gonna affect my combos, right? I mean, I hope it doesn't.
Dude, if you pop Genagin on the car, that shit does so much damage.
Essentially the home run contest.
Yeah,
Beating up the car. Yeah. That is essentially the home run contest.
Indeed.
Oh, I guess.
Optimize your damage in the combo before the time runs out, so you get the explosion or whatever.
Are people thinking about that though? And I guess they are. I guess they are.
Well, they'll probably like subconsciously think, oh, I guess the heavy attack buttons do more damage.
But that's
so
not
if I
like
try
always
to heavy
optimal,
more.
right?
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I think I have to head out right about now, but I just want to say, like, fucking do the special intro stuff, fighting game devs. Listen to me, please.
Please. I agree. I think we can call it now. It's been like a good hour. I have nothing more to say, to be honest. I just want to. I've been playing MK11. I'm like, I like the story mode. Very interesting. I like all the facial expressions and stuff and the dialogue. Like even though I know I Rick Jace, I know I feel like I feel what you're talking about with like the villain and how it's gonna end and stuff. Like but
it comes out of nowhere. You will never see it coming. In like the worst way possible.
MK11 story?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna Google this right now. Hold on. Spoil this to me, Rick Jason Diaz. I gotta see this.
Okay, maybe I will.
All right. Well, we'll call it here. All right. Good talking to you guys. Hopefully, we'll
good talk.
All right.
Good talk.